we are going to find networks and hosts among those networks. We're going to start with 172.16.0.0, 255, subnet 255.255.0.0. And we're going to use these. Say that they want 8 networks with 2,000 hosts, but there is no 2,000 hosts. There is, hold on, 8 networks with 2,000 hosts, but there is no 2,000 hosts. There is 2,048, and that would be 2 to the 11th. So that would be 11 bits per host. I have the world's crappiest penmanship, and the world's crappiest pen and paper, so bear with me. Well, they want a minimum of 8 networks and 2,000 hosts. Say that they do, your company. So how many free bits do we have to be able to use? We have these two. We have 16 bits, which is plenty. So I'm going to take these two 16 bits. They're two 8 bits, but together they're 16. I'm going to put them down here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be dot first. Dot 0, dot 8, dot 0, I mean. And we are going to use, say they want 11 bits per host. We're going to go, this is 8, 9, 10, 11. There is my 11 bits. This is 11 bits. This is my 11 bits, and I have these bits for what? To borrow to make 8 networks, correct? So I'm going to borrow all these bits if I want to. All of these bits. I can make with these, how many? 2 to the 5 is 32 networks. But I don't need 32, I just need 8. So we're going to make 8. Okay, so the first network is 0, 0, 0. Well, all 5 of the zeros. This is the first network. And then let's make I'm not perfect at drawing straight lines. Let's see. The next network is going to be 0, 0, 0, 1. 0, 0, 0. 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. And I'll just do it this way since, let's see, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, and 1, 1, 0, 0, sorry, 1, 0. This is a 1, so these would be your 8 networks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on a binary chart that shows you what numbers represent, this 1 right here represents what? That would be 8. So that means that the increments of the networks are going to be in 8. So how many bits did I borrow? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 16 is going to be 21. So the first network is going to be 170. That's not 7. 172.16.24. I'm sorry. No. You're not there yet. It's going to be 0.0/21. Remember, these are networks. Next one's going to be 172.16.0.8. I'm sorry, .8.0. And that's also going to be on the network 21. Okay, so we're going up to 56, and they're all on network 21. They're all in increments of 8. Now let's look at the range of each network, of each of your 8 networks. And we'll start with the first one, 172.16.0.0. And we'll move this over here so you can see a little better. Maybe turn on the flashlight in case you can't really see because of my crappy paper. And let's see, 172.16. This was the .0.0/21. So we're going to start, it starts at network. Let's see, it was 0.0, so it's going to be 1.1. And this is going to go, you notice the next network will block you. It starts at 0.8.0. So you can't go on 8 or past 8 on the first network. Your hosts can only be 0.1 to 172.16.0.9. I'm sorry, 7. Where's my head? And okay, hold on. Whoa, major error. Excuse me. I'm a little bit foggy this morning. Ignore that one. It's going to go to 172.16.7.254. The reason you can't go 255, which is the max that each zero has, when you go on the point is the 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits, 8 bits. It's because you need that extra zero inside of the 8 bits, like you saw over here, the 8. You need the extra one for the subnet mask, and that would be the 255 thing. There's 4 of those sections. So you can't go to the 8. You have to stop at the 7, and you can't use the 255 because you need that. After the 255, this turns back into what would be it would roll over, and this would become 8, and you would go from there. Remember, from the next one, we're going in increments of 8. So from 0, this becomes an 8, then a 16, then a 24, 32. But you're always going to start with the 1. And you are going to go to the max. Since this is going to be a 16, you're going to have to stop at 172.16.8. No, 15. Because it's going to be a 16, you stop at 15 dot and then 254 once again. So this is going to be a 24, so you have to stop at 23, and then you need the 255 for the subnet, so this is 254. Okay, so you get the idea, but have you noticed that I start with an even number and I end with an odd number? Well, you probably won't be able to read my writing, but that's 8, and that's a 15. That's 16, and that's a 23, 24, 31, 32, 39, 40, 47, 48, 55, 56, 63. And we're going to assign these to, well, each network can go to 2000. You can choose any network to go to whatever. Say you wanted to choose the top one. These you can use to assign your serial. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the first, second, and third and assign them to the networks. Let's see, 172.16.0.0/30. Let's go ahead and just start marking networks. And then this will be the third one. So 172.16.0.4, and this is all 30. I'll just go 30. 170. Oh wow. 172.16.0.8, and this will all go to the These are the first 3 networks that come from this top one. You can see that. And the rest of them. So we subnetted this one here. Then the rest can go to all the other networks. This one. Oh, crappy pen. This is network 1. This is 2, network 3. And the rest, this would be network, network 0, network 1, network 2. Usually in computers, a lot of the first things in them start with 0. So this would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess we could put 9. But we're going to stop at 7. You have the 7 networks right here, but technically it's actually 8 because you start with 0. Now we're going to do a DSCP for every pool. So you don't have to program the PCs manually, but you're going to tell every pool what's the range and what's to be excluded. The first of the IPs to be excluded from each range. If I wanted to, well, we didn't have to do it this way. If I wanted to make only 8 networks, I could have chosen the last 3 bits. That will make me, only 8 networks. And then the extra 2 bits can go into the host, would go into the host. So instead of 2048 hosts, it could be 8,000 hosts. So then I could have had 8 networks, with 8,000 hosts. Right now I have 32 networks, with each one with 2,000 hosts. I'm sorry, 32 networks on each one 2,000 hosts. That also depends on your topology. If you feel that 8 networks is good for you, then you can do it this way. But if you think in the future that you're going to need more networks, then you can do it that way. So if you think that 8 is enough, then you can borrow the last 3 bits. Borrowing the last 3 bits and make 8 networks and borrow these last 2 bits. Put these last 2 bits into the host side. And instead of having 11 bits, you can have 13 bits. So 2 to the 13th bits will give you 8192, 8192. You'll have 8,192 hosts. Are you going to use them all? Maybe you might. It depends. Maybe you don't. Who knows? Are you going to put 8,000 hosts on one network? You might use a lot of that to subnet and make smaller networks out of it. 8,000 on a single network? Probably not. You're not likely. Not even 2,000. 2,000 it's kind of high. But this is merely for practice. So the original subnet mask is 16-bit, and in this case we borrowed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more bits. So we made it 21, and this was the original network that was given to us. I'm going to give you an example. On the world's crappiest paper and pen and penmanship. 192.168.10.0 on the network 24. Okay, well, I'm going to stick with numbers that you are used to. The 172.16.00 again, /22. Say that you needed 240 hosts for each net. How many networks can you get with this? Well, the answer is 4. You're going to have 4 networks. Let's see, they want 240 hosts, but there is no 240. The next one, it's going to be 256, which is the whole 8 bits. Let me explain the bits. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that 8? Yeah, that's 8. say this is the 172 part, but it wouldn't be zeros here. Let's take this 0, and because it's a 0, you have all zeros there. So let's go ahead and write it all out. Let's forget about that decimal. Let's just say that all of these had nothing but 0. 0.0.0.0.0. So we'll go dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dot 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so all right. So there's 8 of them. So 2 to the 8 is actually equal to 256. Obviously, we're not going to have zeros here because they're already taken. You got 172 and 16 here. So these would be different. Why don't I just go ahead and write it out for you like that? So instead of this, let's look at it like this. 172.16.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, is that 8? Yeah, that's 8. And then these 8 bits will give you the host, right? /22 is 255.255. Let's see. Dot 16 bits. So it's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So all of this is what? That's fixed. You can't touch those. So how many bits left? Only 2. These 2, correct? So how many networks do you think you can get out of that? 4. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. That's half of the battle, and now you need to write it down and in decimal. So the first network is 172.16.0.0, and it originally was 22. I'm not going to put that, I accidentally did that, but I'll leave it. You're going to borrow 2 more, so they're going to be what? 24. So they're going to be 24. So the second network, you're borrowing 2 more, so it's going to be the 24. So that is your first network. So your next network is going to be 172.16.1.0 on the 24 network, or 24. 172.16.2.0. 172 will be, this will be your fourth. 172.16.3.0 24. That's your 4 networks. Okay, so your subnet is going to be 255.255.255.0, because all you did was just borrow those 2 bits. It originally was 22 plus 2 more, making it 24. It just happened to look like a Class C subnet mask, but it's not. This might be confusing for those of you who are doing networking, especially for the first time you're looking over this kind of thing. My notes are all out of order from what I remember doing. Of course I know it, but I would have to look back on and see which ones were first to be the best explainable notes. They're all mixed up, so this is one out of like a section of notes that I remember that I just chose, looked over my notes, and I'm going over it with you. It's going to be a little confusing until I can organize everything together. And this is actually one of the first ways of learning how to do the binary for creating networks and a host. You pretty much get the idea, and my next video will show you how to implement networks and hosts into routers, into a topology, a network topology. It won't be the same numbers, but you'll get the gist of how to set them up once you have your own.